So let's add in some of these new tags that we just discussed in the previous video. I'm going to keep using the same two files I already have. So if I open this, we've got my Hello World page here, and we've got some ASCII art, quite a bit of ASCII art, and we've used some different tags to space things out, and we've got a link here that goes here, and these links also go to specific parts of the glossary as best they can, considering that there's not a whole lot of depth here yet, but that's okay. So I will open these with text edit. We'll start with this one. So the very first tag that I mentioned was comments. You can use comments for quite a few different things. They're mostly used to just sort of leave notes for yourself as you're working on things. But if you're working with other people, they can also be used too to make sure that you kind of know where different things are going. So maybe they're coding part, and when they're done, you're going to put that into your document, and that might give you sort of ways to make placeholders that don't create visual elements on the actual loaded page while you're testing it or trying other things out. So I'm going to put a little thing here to sort of remind myself of when I last updated. And I should actually be able to use line breaks in here if I want to. So if I save that and I reopen this, let's just make sure. There we go, seems to be working just fine. I don't see my comment. If I show page source, there we go, there's my comment. It is working. So let's add in a few more comments. So I want this little turtle to actually be a real image when we get to that. So replace turtle with image later. And we'll get to those fairly soon. And can define what that is in case anyone is unsure. Depending on how you look at this, it might be kind of confusing if your screen is really small. So maybe I actually want to put a beginning and ending comment on it just to help reduce confusion. Anything else I want to put in here? And it's up to you what you put in there. It's basically just a tool for you to keep things organized and to keep things clear. So, you know, if you need more, add more. If you need less, don't put so many. It's up to you. The next thing we talked about was the header element. So the header is like the stuff that's not the page itself. Now you might be thinking, where do the comments go in there? And the comments are sort of a different thing. Don't worry about the comments. But the comment can go in there. So we can put header at the top. And then the stuff about the page would include the title. So we can then close the header there. And it's okay that this comment is in there. And then we can open the body element, the body container, and that should be all of the content on the page itself. So down at the bottom, we can then close the body element. And once again, it's okay that we have comments in the body. Comments can go in either place. Remember, comments don't actually load anything. They don't load an element. They're just there for the coder. So if we reopen this and we refresh it, still good. No comments. Header and body tag working just fine. And that's almost it. Now we also discussed the pre-element, which replaces the listing element. Well, it didn't replace it at the time, but nowadays it replaces it because the listing element has been basically discontinued. It still runs, obviously, but you're encouraged not to use it. So we should switch those out. And that one there. And that looks pretty good. We can make sure that it still works just fine. Command R, no problems. And the last one is the hyperlink types, right? So let's see, what do we have here? We have a hyperlink here. So we can add in type, and this goes to an HTML file, so we type text/HTML in there, and then we can just drop this in any other places with links. So there's a link. Here's a link. Make sure that you get it outside of those quotes. And here's another link, once again, outside of the quotes, but still inside of the brackets itself. And this one there. And so if we save it and we refresh this, everything still looks good. Notice there's no visible changes. We made quite a few different changes in there and there's nothing visible. So the additions to HTML each time aren't always about visuals or adding new elements for the actual viewing of the page. Sometimes there are more other stuff on the back end that might be important for other reasons. And I can open the glossary page and I can make all the same changes here, but it's not going to be very interesting, so I'm not going to make you rewatch me do that.